How would you feel if your child was suddenly taken away from you one day? It's difficult to even imagine that, isn't it? And what if the entire thing was blamed on you, that you failed to take care of your child? It's probably one of the biggest nightmares for any parent. For some, it has unfortunately come true. This is late Priyadarshini Patil. She was an IT professional. She lived in Australia with her husband and 2 children. Her daughter Aparajita Patil is 13 years old. Son Amartya Patil is 17. Priyadarshini is no more. She died by suicide. Why? Due to heartbreak. You see, 2 years ago, Priyadarshini's family was torn apart by the Australian authorities. This is what actually happened. Amartya suffered from ulcerative colitis, a chronic inflammatory bowel disease. He had to be hospitalized for treatment. Weeks had passed. Amartya's health did not improve, and weeks turned into months. Half a year later, Amartya was still sick. And frustrated, Priyadarshini filed a legal complaint against the doctors. She claimed that the doctors were not providing proper treatment. What happened next? The doctors filed their own complaint in return. They told child welfare that it was improper care at home that was making Amartya ill. Priyadarshini's father says it was an act of revenge. And soon the authorities took action. Officials from Australia's Child Welfare Services met Priyadarshini and her husband. In fact, they inspected their house, even submitted 6 positive reports. However, in the 7th report, they made a U-turn and took the 2 children into custody. Amartya and Aparajita were taken away from Priyadarshini. Australia's Department of Communities and Justice stole the Indian woman's kids. Can you even imagine Priyadarshini and her husband's pain? They did not get any say in their own children's lives. From which school they would attend to where they could go. Priyadarshini lost all her rights over her own children. In fact, the DCJ issued a lookout notice against her and her children so that the family could not travel out of Australia. Priyadarshini was heartbroken, but she had not given up just yet. She sat through custody hearings, tried to convince the Australian government to withdraw her children's citizenship, and that way the family could happily return to India, but all in vain. Disheartened, Priyadarshini decided to return to India alone, but she never made it home. An online hearing for the custody battle was scheduled for the 22nd of August, but the Australian authorities postponed it to November. And that was the last straw for Priyadarshini. Instead of heading to her hometown, she made her way to Belagavi in the South Indian state of Karnataka, and there she jumped into a reservoir and killed herself. Her children could not even come to attend her funeral. Her husband traveled to India alone to conduct the last rites. A beautiful family was destroyed at the hands of the Australian authorities. A mother lost her children's custody, and then the children lost their mother forever. Why? Just because Australia's healthcare system failed the child, is it? Was Australia too proud to admit this? Instead, it broke a family. It scarred the children forever. Who gave Australia the right to do this? And before dying, Priyadarshini sent off her bags to her parents. This note was found in her luggage. Let me read it out for you. Our lives are threatened. I am compelled to end my life for the survival of my children and husband Lingaraj. I am accepting my death for the good of my family. From 2021 to the present day, Australia's Department of Communities and Justice has ruined my family. The residents of Wellesley Street in Sydney have harassed us. Priyadarshini had alleged that the family of a police officer had been troubling her that they had poisoned the water supply to her house. But were Priyadarshini's pleas heard? No, they weren't. She died trying to get her children's custody back. And now that she is gone, Australia's DCJ has woken up. It has offered condolences and said that it is assessing the return of full custody to Priyadarshini's husband. A woman had to die for this to happen. And you know what's even worse? Even the children do end up returning home. Their home would never be the same again. That home will not have a mother. The children will not have a mother. No country gets to separate children from their mother. This is criminal and nothing short of cultural prejudice. I doubt Australia would have done this to a white family. Did Priyadarshini and her family pay the price for being brown-skinned and of Indian origin? Because you see, she will not be the first then. Something similar happened in the case of Ariha Shah. We told you about this. In the year 2021, baby Ariha was just 7 months old. She was hospitalized for an accidental injury. And soon after, she was taken away by the childcare authorities in Germany. No charges were filed against the parents. And yet, 2 years on, Ariha has not been returned to her parents. She is living in foster care in Berlin. Do you think a foster family would be looking after her better than her own parents? Imagine the plight of Ariha's mother and of others like her. They live in a foreign country that is poles apart from their culture. They raise their children with no extended family to support, and welfare services just decide one day that they are not good mothers and take away their children. Why do Indian mothers have to face this? Why do white countries feel so entitled to make decisions for them? What is it if not cultural prejudice? Do these people have the right to break a family, to separate children from their mothers? These repeated cases also beg another question. Why do Indian mothers continue to go to such societies that don't understand their culture? What is the fascination of relocating all about if your family is at risk in that new country? Something to think about. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the updates on the move.